I'll start with my regular disclaimer that I'm not a therapist. This is just the understanding of a nerd. My understanding is that coping methods definitely come up when talking about structural dissociation because different parts can come with different coping methods, and that's kind of what I was talking about in the video that you commented on. My apparently normal part recognizes that the trauma I was talking about is valid and that it had a pretty big impact on me. But the emotional part that I was talking about getting triggered does not have that same belief system and or coping method of let's accept and try to really face this trauma. So that emotional part that can get triggered for me is a part that just invalidates it and honestly almost kind of like gaslights that part of me into saying like, you're crazy, like nothing significant happened here, you're being dramatic, etc. But because that's a distinct coping method and a distinct way of looking at my life experiences versus my like typical way of experiencing my life and like looking at my life, that those are different parts. And so that's why I felt that highlighted structural dissociation, is that I have these two different belief systems, these two different ways of looking at things. And so that like kind of discrepancy really highlights two different parts. Whereas I think if somebody just has a widespread experience of minimizing their trauma, but that's just kind of how they are all the time, then maybe that wouldn't be a sign of structural dissociation. Because I don't really think it's about what coping method you have or don't have. It's about kind of whether you maintain one way of thinking, one belief system, one like set of coping methods for the same type of things, or if you have different parts that look at things so differently. Though also when thinking about it, like could somebody just chronically downplay their trauma and that be like 100% of who they are? My mind went, maybe that doesn't actually make sense, because if you recognize that you're downplaying, then doesn't some part of you have to know that it's being downplayed? I don't know. That's an interesting question though, but